cannot hear me. Right. Assalamu alaikum again. Now can you hear me? Sounds working. Right. So fantastic. So Friday, as you guys know, on Fridays I come on live, try to answer some of your questions and maybe just talk about things. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Let me just put this light a bit down. It's better. Right, it's a bit. The light's a bit bright today. Yeah. So usually on Fridays it's basically chill out day. Today the weather's been very nice, sunny today. It's a bit cold outside, bit of a wind as well, but the weather's been quite nice, mashallah. And this week, hopefully, inshallah, I will be delivering a talk with Maulana Umar Subaider. So Umar Subaider, he has recently written a book um, on Imam Abu Hanifa's hadith. So he's collected 500 hadith of Imam Abu Hanifa, including Fatawa as well. I haven't seen the book yet, but inshallah I will get hold of a book of the book on Sunday, inshallah, and then I'll let you guys know about the book. So this Sheikh, I've never met him before. It's the first time I'm going to meet him. He's from Canada, and hopefully, inshallah, it's going to be a good event. Those of you guys who are in Birmingham, come down, inshallah, and those of you guys who are outside of Birmingham, then if you can come down, come down. I'm going to be delivering a short speech about Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah and the history of his madhab, how it developed later on. Hopefully, inshallah, that's going to be beneficial to you guys. Otherwise, the week's been very good. I have been putting up videos as usual. On Mondays, I put up Learn How to Read the Quran for those of you guys who are not familiar with the videos. And then it's basically for those of you guys who are learning how to read the Quran, it helps you guys out. And also Tuesday, it's hadith. So we're going through the 40 hadith of Imam Suyuti rahimahullah. We have I think about 5 hadith left. 5 hadith left. And then the book's going to finish. Then I'm going to start another series. And I've brought a few books on 40 hadith collections. I don't know where to put them. Yeah, I'll have to find them. And I'll probably start another one. Yeah, some of you guys have been asking about 40 hadith of Imam Nawawi. That's quite long, but I do hopefully, inshallah, intend to cover that. And then on Wednesdays, we had Diwan of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. So that's also a fantastic series for you guys to check out as well, because it's filled with poetry. And for those of you guys who like Arabic, you're going to benefit a lot from it, inshallah. And then on Thursdays, we have Mukhtasar al-Quduri. Right, so these are the videos that I make. And besides that, I sometimes put up some other types of videos as well, random kind of videos that you guys can benefit from, inshallah, as well. Okay, right. John Joe, alaikum assalam. I hope you're well. Question: is it permissible to stand and urinate and make sure no drops? Yes, it's permissible for men to stand up and urinate. However, it's not the ideal way to. It's best to sit down, but you won't be sinful for standing up. Is purchasing a cat a major minor sin? It's not. It's actually totally permissible in the Hanafi school. If someone doesn't commit a sin they were intending to because they got lazy, will they be rewarded? The hadith mentions that if a person intends to commit a sin and then stops out of fear of Allah, stops doing or doesn't do it, then they will be rewarded. That intention will be rewarded as a good action. Otherwise, they don't get a reward for it. Yeah, they don't get a reward. So if it's, for example, laziness, and there was no fear of regret or anything of that sort, then it won't be rewarded. Right. So, and I've got a new top, guys. Yeah, this is I don't know if this color suits me or not, but this is a nice top I saw in the shop, and it's made of lamb's wool, so it keeps me nice and warm all day. I've been feeling so nice and warm wearing this. I don't know, do you guys enjoy wearing wool? Yeah, so I've been it's only sometimes a little bit itchy if it touches my neck, but besides that, it's nice and warm. I like staying warm in the cold. So normally I wear like 3 or 4 layers. So the moment I've got 3 layers on, I've got underneath, basically I've got this hiking top. This is a hiking top which is designed for hiking, and it repels moisture. So if you sweat, it repels it, and it keeps you dry and it keeps you warm, very warm. Like not like hot, but nice and warm. and underneath I've got my thoban, and then I got this on top. So I've been feeling nice and warm. When I go outside, I wear my coat as well. So multiple layers. You can never go wrong with layers in the winter. That's what I say. Nice. Jazakallah khair, John Joe. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. I don't really usually wear this kind of color. That's the thing. I think I've hardly ever worn this kind of color. I don't know. I don't think there's any in my videos I've ever worn this kind of color. Allah knows best. Or have I? Actually, you know what? I might have. But it's a thin. Yeah, I think I have, but it's a thin one. Abdul Rahman from Kenya. Ahla wa sahlan. Ahla wa sahlan. Just impressed Islam impressed Islam week ago. Kindly, how can I know easily the Surah of Fatiha? So I have a series called Learn How to Read the Quran. So if you go on my YouTube channel, you can find the series there. In fact, let me have a look for the series for you. And this series is going to help you from scratch of how to read the Quran, inshallah. Yeah, so learn the Quran series. I have heard a hadith regarding making money from cats and that it is impermissible to sell. Was there a specific context to this hadith? I can't remember the hadith. Do you have the hadith? I'll have a look at it. If you can send me the hadith, I'll have a look at it. So when it comes to animals, there are sometimes you get a hadith which might mention various types of prohibitions, but those prohibitions have to be understood in the wider context of things. So according to Hanafis, selling cats is permissible. Selling the dogs is not permissible unless there is a reason for it, like there's a purpose for it, like hunting dog or something of that nature. But generally, according to Hanafis, the default is that things are considered permissible. Mashallah, wool, cotton, leather, linen, just wear these and you'll be happy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, leather. I actually had a leather jacket once, but it kind of tore, so I need to get another one. Where do you guys think best place to get nice, reasonably priced leather jackets? What do you do when what to do when the mufta bihi qawl is differed upon by fuqaha? Also, in that case, so this is where you have to study iftar. So you study iftar. That's where you learn how to navigate through the various aqwal of the fuqaha. In what cases are we permitted to take the weaker opinions? Again, this requires, so it's not like a 2-minute answer I can give. It requires understanding multiple things and various different cases. Okay. Right. Ahlan wa sahlan. What surah was revealed after Surah Alaq? Allah, I don't know. I don't know which surah was revealed after, because the thing was, surahs were not revealed in full orders. So some say, for example, like Surah Muzammil, parts of Surah Muzammil were revealed after Surah Alaq and Surah Muddathir. And some say other parts of the Quran as well. Yeah, so Surah Fatiha, this was revealed later, but it's most likely it's parts of Surah Muzammil, Surah Muddathir. Ahla wa sahlan, Maulana Huzaifa. When is the Arabic podcast coming back? Inshallah, I do want to restart, I'm thinking of maybe restarting it, but doing it on Thursday evenings, just for 1 hour. I think if I do that, it's going to be more regular. Friday, sometimes something comes up, this happens, that happens. So this is why I think, what do you think, Maulana? Are you with me? Yeah, we need to get Maulana Hamza back as well. Can you do an iftar course on? I actually do an iftar course, and you can join it in September. So I do one. I do have one. It's with the Sufa Institute. So it's on Wednesday evenings. It runs. Sunan Abi Dawood. Actually, you know what? That number. Everyone thinks that hadith numbers, they're all the same. They're not the same. So give me a second. Let me just check this hadith up. All right, let's have a check. No. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Okay, so this is باب بيع السنور. قال حدثنا أبو داود جابر نهى عن ثمن السنور. قال الشيخ النهي عن بيع المتأول على أنه إنما كره. Okay, so this is Al-Imam al-Khattabi says this. So I'm going to read this out to you. Okay, he says, قال الشيخ Imam al-Khattabi says النهي عن بيع السنور, the prohibition of selling cats, متأول is interpreted على أنه إنما كره, that this was disliked من أجل أحد معنين, two meanings, one of two meanings, إما لأنه كالوحشي, either it was because it was predatory, wild, الذي لا يملك قياده, that which could not be domesticated, ولا يصح التسليم فيه, and it was not possible to be able to control. وذلك لأنه ينتاب الناس في دورهم ويطوف عليهم. This is because cats, jump into people's houses and all of that kind of stuff. And then he goes والمعنى والمعنى الآخر أن يكون إنما نهى عن بيعه لئلا يتمانع الناس فيه ويتعاوروا ما يكون منه في دورهم فيرتفق به ما أقام عندهم ولا يتنازعوا. So that's why, so basically what he's saying is that the interpretation of this is that it was regarding certain scenarios where the animal could not be tamed, or it was something which is going to affect the people. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, there were cats that used to enter his house. They were fine. So therefore having a cat is fine, and therefore based upon that, selling. So in other words, the interpretation of this hadith is regarding specific scenarios for it. So specific scenarios. وَمِمَّنْ أَجَازَ, and then he says, and from those people who actually permitted selling cats, Ibn Abbas allowed it, and Hassan Basri, Ibn Sirin, Hamad, Imam Malik even. So many of them have allowed this. So that's why it's considered permissible. Salam, ahla wa sahlan Tanweer. Welcome, my brother Tanweer. Long time no see. Can we combine niyyah for nafal prayers, like combining Maghrib Sunnah with Salat al-Istikhara? Yes, you can do that. Galaxy, ahla wa sahlan Galaxy. Wa alaikum assalam. How long must a sutra place in front of? So the sutra is basically when you pray, you have some object in front of you. So when someone's passing by, they know to walk around it. So this should be about the size of your arm, roughly about the size of your arm. Wa alaikum assalam, my brother Abdul Majid. Kayf al-hal? What's the latest, my brother Abdul Majid? What is up? Just a quick question. Someone asked, is it okay to use software programs that are pirated and not buy the original? I wouldn't see a problem. It wouldn't be considered to be sinful, but then to go and sell them on would be sinful. I would personally say if the software is something which can't be afforded by the individual, then maybe yes. But if it is, then people should try to buy so that the people who are producing the software can at least make a living. Only if your name is Jack Sparrow. That's true. Yes, I agree. Jazakallah khair. You're welcome, my brother Abdullah. What websites are you reading this Shar hadith from? The website is called Turath. In fact, I'll just put it up on here. So there's lots of websites you can use. I prefer to use this one. It's easier. The thing is, when you use these websites, you must be careful to note that there are lots of mistakes in the texts. Like typos, lots of typos. Masir Ali, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother. Kayf al-hal? I'm very good, ma. Thank you very much. I'm very good. Sutra in height or length? So sutra in height. So basically, it has to be. So the Prophet ﷺ used to dig a short spear in front of him. A short spear. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abdul Majid from Safura, and Safiya is asleep. Safura, how are you? How come Safiya is asleep? I wonder why Safiya is asleep and you're awake. Tell Safiya she can't be asleep at a live stream. She has to be awake. If she is my favorite niece, actually, you're my favorite niece, isn't it? Okay, you're my favorite niece. She's my second favorite niece. So tell my second favorite niece that why is she asleep for when I'm live? Marva, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is Masjid Aisha considered a miqat? If so, how do we answer the ishkal that the command was exclusively for Aisha radiallahu anha due to her illness? So we don't. So basically, when it comes to the mawaqit, there's 5 mawaqit, right? And those are the well-known ones. The Medina one is Dhul Hulayfa. Okay, so you got Dhul Hulayfa, Dhatu Irqin, Qarn, Yalamlam. So these are the miqats. The miqat for the people of Hill, we say that this is the miqat for the people of the Haram. So in other words, for the people who are afaqis, meaning those of you who live outside of the Medina and all that area, for them, that's the official miqat. the people who live inside of the haram, for them the miqat is this. So because Aisha radiallahu anha and the Sahaba were in the miqat itself, were in the miqat, that's why he allowed her to go there. So from there we take, if he allowed her, then why would the ruling be special to her? So whenever we find in a hadith that someone says this ruling is special to her, we need to find evidence that it's for her. Does that make sense? So whenever the Prophet ﷺ gives a ruling to someone, we have to find evidence that it's special. In order to say this is exclusive and it's not for everyone else, there has to be some strong evidence, and there's no strong evidence, to my knowledge, that supports that. So we say anyone who is in the haram, who is not an afaqi, who is not outside, then for them, the miqat would be there for umrah. For hajj, they don't have to. If someone is in the haram, they can do their ihram from wherever they are. That's what they say. Yeah, Allah. And the other, obviously, the other opinion that some of them say is that it's from Ji'irrana. So Ji'irrana is slightly further away. That they say it's actually from Ji'irrana. So Ji'irrana is the Prophet ﷺ went to Ji'irrana and he did ihram and he came back. So there's that as well. Yeah, Allah. And if you want to read more about this, then you can read Nasbur Raya. So in Nasbur Raya, the commentary of Hidayah, you can read more about it over there. So anyway, so yes, that was the week, guys. Alhamdulillah. Today went quite nicely, quite well. Well, one of my students who's actually graduated, Maulana Rizwan, his name is Maulana Ridwan. He has been in a coma since over a week now. So make dua for him. He just fell ill and they had to put him into an induced coma. So he's been ill for past over a week now. So make dua Allah gives him shifa kamil. Illnesses are going around, guys. Got to be very, very cautious nowadays. Lots of illnesses going around, and just randomly people are just in the past, like 5 or 6 years ago, you rarely heard about people getting a flu and then getting really ill. And now it's like really common, unfortunately. May Allah give shifa to all those who are ill. And this is also the time for du'as to be accepted. May Allah forgive our sins. May Allah accept our acts of worship and prepare us for Ramadan and help us and our families to be able to uphold the laws of Allah. And all of the people over here who have personal issues, Ya Allah, we ask you to make it easier for all of them. May Allah grant all the sick. Ameen. Ameen. Regarding the virtue of reciting Surah Kahf on Friday. Ya Allah. Yeah. And the other thing, guys, have you guys been checking out the news on Chat GPT? Chat GPT, man. I was actually reading about GPT, which is a type of AI. Yeah, I think it's at GPT-4 now. So GPT-3 or GPT-4. It's like this language-based learning AI. So it learns from language. You give it more information, it learns. And I remember this was like many, many, many years ago, maybe about 10, 11 years ago. I was at this university, Birmingham University presentation where someone was presenting from Lebanon. They were from Lebanon and from the UK. They're presenting this kind of tajweed software that they were developing. The idea was you read into it and it corrects your tajweed. And at that time, we were thinking, whoa, this is like cutting edge software, and it seems very far fetched that it's going to be able to. So what happened basically was now this new Chat GPT, you can actually basically ask it anything, and it will give you information, exact like answers. People are generally using it to to get the assignments done. So you can tell it, write an assignment on this particular topic, and it will write the assignment for you. And you can ask it for all the evidences as well and references. And this is the strange thing now. This is the time, guys, when Chat GPT is gonna change. It's gonna change the course of mankind. Yeah, because people basically you can use Chat GPT to. What's gonna happen is that at the moment when we discuss things with someone, like when we debate online, sometimes people used to pull up websites and they would check things and they would debate with each other. But now what's going to happen is you basically just have to ask the GPT, the Chat GPT, just to ask a particular question or about a debate, and it will be able to give you a precise answer. So people are then going to be debating through AI, as in they won't have the skill to be able to research that information themselves. So they'll simply be using the AI as a proxy. Yeah, they're using the AI to be able to debate with each other. And this can be scary now, because then what's going to happen to people's credentials? People like professionals, people are just going to like sell themselves as professionals because they'll just have the AI, and they can ask the AI anything, and they probably give you better answers than a professional would. So I think this is gonna. What do you guys think? You tell me. What do you guys think about this? Zed, is there a difference between how men and women should pray? Please elaborate. And are there? Yeah, so I don't have time to elaborate it here because it's a long discussion. But generally, the scholars say that there are differences between the men and in the all four madhabs. There are differences between the men's salat and the women's salat. Definitely, that 100%. Yeah, like for example, the Prophet ﷺ told the women to stand at the back, men at the front. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned about the women that the men, when the Imam makes a mistake, the men will say Subhanallah and the women will clap if they hear the Imam make a mistake. Likewise, that the Prophet ﷺ also mentioned to the women that they should put their body together as close as possible, and that praying at home is better for them. So this is why the actions in salat in all four madhabs, Hanafis have about 22 differences in the Hanafi school. Okay, so Ibn Adam, alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. I have a bag that is elbow to wrist. Yes, you can use that, inshallah. That's fine. Do we make our tasbih after salah, after out of fard or sunnah? So there's an ikhtilaf. Hanafi say you should make it after the sunnahs. Some of them say you can make it after the fard. Yeah, so there's ikhtilaf between them. Rafi wa alaikum assalam. How do you take notes while studying fiqh, if any? I am currently studying Quduri and will start Usul al-Shashi. So making notes, look, before you make any notes, the first and foremost thing that you have to focus on is, what is the aim of this book? What do you want to achieve at the end of this book? Take any book that you want to study, and just write down, at the end of this, what do I want to achieve at the end of it? If you have the goal, like for example, let's say I study, I don't know, Hidayat and Nahu. I say at the end of this, I want to be able to understand how a sentence can be broken down, and I want to understand um, like these particular topics like marfu'at, mansubat, majrurat. I want to understand them in more detail. Like let's say, for example, this is my 2 goals. You might have 3 goals, 4 goals. Then what you do when you make your notes, you know what you're going to be looking for. Like you know what to look for to understand the book. And then the third thing that you need to do is you need to focus on understanding the text. Your notes should reflect, have you understood the text or not? If you have not understood the text, the other notes you make are pointless. Make sure you focus most of your notes on understanding breakdown of the text. And if your teacher obviously tells you extra benefits, make notes of those. If you're going to study fiqh, then again, if it's Quduri, you need to understand, at the end of this, I want to be able to understand the masail of each chapter and then break down. So, okay, the chapter of wudu, I want to be able to understand how wudu is done, what are the ikhtilafs of wudu, and how many masail there are, let's say. So when you're going to go through it, you're going to start making notes on these things. So that's the thing about making notes. A lot of people don't know how to make notes. They'll just go into it, writing down anything the teacher says. We had in our madrasa, we had students who would write down so much of what the teacher would say that they would even write down the cough the teacher would do, like the coughing. And if they picked up their phone and answered their phone, they would even write that down, because they were just trying to like record everything the teacher said. I don't think writing down everything the teacher said is necessary. You just need to understand, like when you read it, you understand, okay, I've understood this much from it, right? I've understood, like I've read the book myself, I've understood 60% of it. There's 40% I don't understand. That's where your notes come in handy. Like the video guys. Yeah, video guys. The issue is that AI is not smart enough to probably filter out biased information. Exactly, that's the problem. So people will think AI is like God. That's what they're gonna think. They're gonna think ultimately that there is no power that can come close to AI. Eventually, that's what will happen for most people. Most people will think AI is something that is like transcends them. It's a transcendent being, and that's the scary part. That's like the Dajjal system, where people will now think, there is something that's worthy of adoration, worship. And I'm not saying that the AI is Dajjal, but what I'm saying is that this is clearly leading towards that path. And I don't know what you guys think of that, but I mean, from what I've seen, and AI is gonna change a lot because Google will literally become redundant. There will come a time when Google people will not even need Google anymore because uh, Chat GPT AI, it will just do everything for it. It makes your life lazier than what it was before. And technology is that technology just makes you lazier. The more technology is going to make you lazier, the more popular that technology will become. Read up what happened in Japan with AI military grade. Yeah, I haven't checked that. But I've seen that people have been asking the AI how to make bombs, how to, you know, do all these other strange things as well. Yeah. So, like how to rob banks, how to make a code that can hack into a bank, and it's giving them the answers. Okay, rakat tahiyatul masjid sunnat or wajib. According to the Hanafis, considered to be mustahab, recommended. We will be sinful if we sit down. No, you won't be sinful. It's a recommended act. Salam alaikum, ahla wa sahla zob. What kind of insects are halal? There's only one insect that is halal, which is locust. No, none others. How long does sunrise and sunset last precisely? This differs in which part of the world you are. So what I would suggest is if you Google how long does sunset last for and sunrise, they'll tell you different parts of the world how long it lasts. No idea who Mr. Sparrow is. So you're welcome. Also, is there any reward for eating from the side of the plate when you are not sharing a plate with anyone? There's no specific reward attached to it, but it's considered one of the etiquette adab. All sounds that Jalik was just about to say. Yes, definitely. That's the definitely way. And I guarantee you, people are going to lose hope in religion, and they're just going to start to say, you know what, AI is the Muhammad Prairie. Ahla wa sahlan. Muhammad wa alaikum assalam. Ahla wa sahlan. Muhammad, long time no see. Wa alaikum assalam. Mullah. Wa alaikum assalam. MashaAllah. AI is syntax, not semantics. Humans are both. That's why AI will never become conscious. Yeah, that's what they say in it. But then I was listening to this guy, and he was basically saying that like it depends at what level of consciousness, how like it can replicate consciousness so much that you'll think it's conscious. That's the thing. That's the scary part, where people will think it's alive, as in it knows itself. It knows it exists. Oh, you got flu, still flu. Subhanallah. Allah give you shit. You're always getting flu, bro. Is it from manners to talk whilst eating? Yes. I mean, there's no sin in it. Also, is it true that if you pray fard wajib salah sitting without a valid reason, your salah is invalid? According to Hanafi, is correct. When it's correct, as in his salat won't be valid. When someone dies, all their organs are there, but there is something 1 second after that that has left. Something is different. Yeah, subhanallah, that the ruh, the soul, powerful. Why is fiqh and tafsir still taught in Arabic, although there are many English translations? So, good question. So, basically, when it comes to Quran, look, any science in Islam has to be understood like the past people understood it, the experts understood it, right? So, if you want to understand, like, let's say, Nahu, Arabic grammar, or you want to understand fiqh, or you want to understand, you need to understand how the early people understood their language. The language that they conveyed it in was in Arabic. So that's why we need to understand the Arabic. That's the first reason. So the books are the classical books, the reliable or authoritative books are in Arabic. So that's why in Arabic. The second reason is because the sources that they quote, as in the evidences that they give to explain the verse, is also in Arabic. So if you try to understand it in English, you will lose a lot of that. You might just gain 40% of it through translation, 60% of it, but you will lose a lot. And that could be the fatal part, the dangerous part of making a wrong tafsir. And I mentioned this before to you guys as well. Like learning a book through its original language versus learning a book through a translated language in Islamic sciences, obviously, is like the difference between someone seeing an art piece or tasting a food for the first time versus someone who's on the other side of the line asking them, what does it look like? Describe it to me. So imagine the two people. Yeah, which one is going to understand it more accurately? Obviously, the first guy. The second guy will always be dependent on the other guy, and there's loads of chances of making error. People worship idols, they are not conscious. AI is far more conscious than idols. Wah, wah, wah. That's a deep one, that is, bro. I think that losing hope in religion is already happening, especially among non Muslims, but also Muslims who are ignorant of the deen or not. Yeah, unfortunately, Allah protect us. Yeah, Allah. Is ChatGPT going to start issuing fatwa? I guarantee it will. It will issue fatwa because people are going to ask it questions, aren't they? So people will ask, what is the ruling of this in the Hanafi madhab? If you had to make an ultimate madhab, what would be the best madhab? It will come out with an answer. Yeah. It can be, I would say, it can be used. If it's used properly, it can really enhance research and understanding. Definitely. But that's the thing, is like if it's untamed, if it's, like now they had to put restrictions on it because people were asking it like crazy, crazy things, how to take over a country, how to do that. To say AI is conscious is to say A is B, for which you must define both. AI is understood, but consciousness isn't and cannot be, since whatever conclusion you come to. Yeah, my consciousness told me this is consciousness. The book is true because the book says it's true. Circular argument. I'm currently translating Quran and other Arabic books to help improve my Arabic comprehension. How would you suggest to improve comprehension? So what I would suggest is try to read as much Arabic literature as you can, as much Arabic newspapers, magazines, kids' books. Yeah, just keep reading as much as you can. Have you heard of the Chinese room thought experiment by philosopher John Searle? I vaguely I remember hearing about it. Yeah. Tell us, what is it? Actually, it's in Maghrib time soon, isn't it? Google already gives fatwa. Also, the answer to the ultimate madhab is Hanafi. Allahu Akbar. Walillahi alhamd. MashaAllah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go for Maghrib and then inshallah I'll be back after. So see you in a bit. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, my friends. Right, so let's have a look at this then. Okay, so the Imam has to include the men and women in the intention to lead prayer. If a woman prays in a separate room or a masjid, how would she know? So basically, the Hanafis say that. So you have to understand, the Hanafis, they say if a man prays next to a woman, the man's salat will become void. Because of that, the Hanafis say if there is a fear that a woman might accidentally stand next to a man and void his salat, the Imam should exempt them in the intention. Yeah. This is only in those situations where there is a fear that the women will affect the men's salat. And if there's no fear, then it's fine. Yeah. So this is why if a man was to make intention, let's say 3 people just prayed and a woman came and she just stood behind them, it's fine. The salat will be valid. So the intention is only when there is a fear that the men's salat will become void. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my brother Sharif. كيف الحال? What's happening, my brother? أنا بخير. كيف أمريكا? If a lady takes contraceptive pills without the knowledge of her husband, only because she's tried many times to convince him that she's not mentally or physically capable to look after another child, or okay, so is that the end of the question? So basically, look, on both sides, the husband and wife both have to have, they both have the right to have full sexual intercourse. Yeah, and when it comes to like conceiving a child, this is something which is obviously in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we leave it there. However, if there is no problem, then it is wrong for any of the spouses to do anything without consulting the other individual. If, however, obviously there is in this situation, like the woman is clearly going through some mental problems, she can't then it'd be permissible for her to do such. One of your tweets was about the fear of Muslims becoming normalized as sin. What kind of sins? Loads of sins. I mean, like things like seeing people drink alcohol openly, seeing women half dressed, seeing men flirting with women, seeing open fornication taking place, seeing LGBT normalization of LGBT homosexual relations, yeah, kufr as well. Seeing these kind of things has an impact on a person's mind. So if a person watches these kind of movies a lot, looks into these things a lot, it will definitely have an impact on them, right? Without a doubt, because people on becoming normalized to what is wrong, they don't feel it as seeing it as bad. Imagine you get someone from a village in Pakistan and you make them see these things for the first time, they get a shock to the system. Yeah, because they have a natural fitra, they have this modesty, and all of a sudden living in that kind of environment, it slowly begins to eat away at the modesty, it begins to eat away at the persons. What is the meaning of the name Nusayba? So Nusayba, if it's with the Sad, Nusayba, then it means the one who has a portion, a share. But he wants more children. Would she be sinful? They have one child, 2 years old, and she just wants to wait for a bit for another. No, I don't think there'll be a sin in there, attached in there, because obviously those kind of things, as long as the sexual intercourse, the rights have been given. But like I said, if there is some genuine issue, like anything in a marriage which is going to cause friction, is gonna lead to a sin on either side. So these kind of things where the woman doesn't want and the man wants, and the man should understand the rights of the woman. Yeah, these are kind of things that require reconciliation. They require both of them to sit down and discuss these kind of matters. But generally, when it comes to sin in marriages, it's all to do with who is considered to being wrong, like who is considered to be oppressing the other. That's what the marriage issues really boil down to. When you go for prayer, I mean, and then she should tell him, why is she hiding it from him for? Yeah, so these are the kind of things she should tell. Hiding things from each other, from the spouses, in this kind of manner is a wrong thing anyway. Whether the husband is doing it or whether the wife is doing it, these are considered to be wrong. When you go for prayer, do you pray at home or do you go to the? Usually, I go to the masjid. If there's too much traffic there or if the weather's not good, I'll probably pray at home. Salam alaikum, Sheikh. Is curious cat questions answered today or tomorrow? Usually on Saturdays. If I choose to get a cat, how should I feed it, considering it? So what you do, get cat food that is made up of fish, seafood. That's probably the best option. Assalamu alaikum. Is there a fiqh definition or consciousness? I don't think the fuqaha don't discuss that. So they usually discuss just at the level of taklif. Taklif, like, as in the person is legally responsible for the actions. She has been clinically diagnosed with depression and mental state. Took a hit during her first pregnancy. She wants, yeah, then it's possible. Then it's possible for her to do that. But clearly, she should speak to her husband about this. Is not a healthy thing for her to do this behind his back. Are you riding for Cage? Inshallah, my brother. What date was it again? Yeah, inshallah, I should be able to ride for Cage. Inshallah. Yeah, I have a talk on the 11th. It's gonna be a Sunday, isn't it? Hopefully, inshallah, my brother. Is it 12th? 12th of February. Yeah, hopefully. I'm going to put it down to my calendar. Cage ride. Inshallah, I should be able to do that. Inshallah. Yeah, so how much is it? Is it 40 miles? 40-mile one. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you are well, inshallah. Are parents to be blamed for how their kids turn out today? Yes and no. Yeah, it depends how they brought them up. So in the sense, so if they tried their best to bring them up, then they won't be blamed. And if they haven't, if they really kind of squandered their youth, then they'll be to blame. Yeah, because the Prophet ﷺ said everyone is going to be responsible for those who are below them. What does the name Asiya mean? So are you talking about the woman's name Asiya? Yeah, so Asiya. I don't know exactly what it means. Apparently it was the name of Fir'aun's wife. We don't have any sort of like categorical narrations about that. But it's not. It doesn't seem to be an Arabic name, so I don't know exactly what that name refers to. Promote the book launch this Sunday. Yeah, 40 mile at 55 if they go Warwick, 50 if they go Roslington. Yeah, okay. So Tika, that's fine. Inshallah, we shall do it. I just hope the weather's good. Inshallah. As for Asiya, the Arabic one, Asiya with the Ain, Alif, Sad, yeah. Then Asiya means disobedient. It means someone who's disobedient. Asiya. Yeah, anyway, so this Sunday, guys, is going to be the talk, hopefully, inshallah, about Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah. If you guys are in Birmingham, make sure you come down. I don't think it's going to be live streamed. Not 100% sure. Doesn't say anything on the poster. So this is basically a collaboration with Abrahamic Foundation. Abrahamic Foundation is doing this, and then Asofa is partnering with them on this. So if you guys are there this Sunday, inshallah, I will see you guys there this Sunday, and hopefully, inshallah, we get to meet. Also, make sure you watch the videos. Yeah, so this week's videos that I put up, so I'll make sure you watch them. Inshallah, I'll be putting up some more videos as well. There's actually a video that I've made. I made on a bit of fiqh. Yeah, but I'm just thinking of whether I should put it up. It's basically about how to make timelines in fiqh. This is another important for those of you guys who are doing fiqh. Is you should have for yourself like a big timeline where you kind of map out the whole history of the particular masala. So if you're discussing a particular masala, you know historically where it actually appears in the timeline. Yeah, so in the early 200s, who said what about it, and then who said what about it in the 400s and the 600s and the 800s, and that way it develops your understanding of the madhab. Yeah, you begin to understand a broader understanding of how a masala was passed down and how it was altered as well over the years. Sometimes a particular masala can actually be changed over the years as well. Assalamu alaikum, Junaid. After Salah, I've heard you should say 33 times Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah Akbar, but I've also heard you should say it 10 times. Yes, they're all correct. So there are multiple versions about what the Prophet ﷺ would say, what should be said. So sometimes the Prophet ﷺ would read one, sometimes another, sometimes he wouldn't read anything after the Salat. Right? So there is 33 times Subhanallah, 33 times Alhamdulillah, 34 times Allahu Akbar, or 33 times Subhanallah, 33 times Alhamdulillah, 33 times Allahu Akbar, and then La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika la lahul mulku wa lahul hamd yuhyi wa yumeet wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Or you can say 10 times each. Yeah, so there's like various reports about this. This shows that there wasn't a fixed thing to say after Salat. That's what many of the muhaddithin say. There wasn't a fixed, like what we call a litany, a litany that was recited after the salats. If you want to do a whole sequence of azkar after the salats, fine, but there wasn't a fixed one. That's why even in like the Hanafi books, they don't mention there being like a fixed thing to read after the salats. Stranger, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. JX, wa alaikum assalam. Should we pray with a loudie when we pray Subah, Maghrib, Isha alone? It's up to you. It's optional. If you want to, you can. Sheikh, the Chinese room is as follows. Okay, go on. Tell me what the Chinese room is about. Yeah, so that was my week, guys. Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Week went very nicely, very well. Yeah, this is my peach tea, apricot. Is there evidence from Quran, Hadith to back up the statement that parents are sinful for how their kids will turn out to be? We should judge parents right as their kids have a mind of their own. Yeah. So like I said, sister, I don't know if you understood, heard what I said early on. What I said was the Prophet ﷺ said that every single individual will be mas'ul, kullu mas'ul an ra'iyatihi. Every single person will be responsible for his ra'iyah, for those who he brings up. So if a person does not bring up their children in the right manner, they will be questioned about that. Yeah. So if you mean by as in sin, well, what bigger thing do you want than you'll be questioned about not fulfilling the rights, of the children. Yeah. So to say that it is exact sin for this kind of thing. One, for example, like there's a hadith as well that the Prophet ﷺ says that if a person comes to you to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage, and he's a good guy, and you reject him still, then takun fitnatun fil ardi wa fasadun arid. There's going to be a big fitna in the land. That shows that you are potentially responsible for all of that. Yeah. So parents, like, if you tried your best with your children, like the Prophet ﷺ says, when your child reaches the age of 7, then be strict with them in salat. And when they reach the age of 9, separate their beddings. That clearly shows there are certain things parents have to do for their children. If they've tried their best and they brought them up and the children still turn out bad, that's not their fault. Yeah. So if they've tried their best, Allah knows, then that won't be their fault. But if they have obviously wasted their youth, they've taught their kids really bad things, they've set bad standards for them, then they will be responsible without a doubt. There's no doubt about that. The Chinese room argument holds that a digital computer executing a program cannot have a mind, understanding, and consciousness. The argument presented by the philosopher John Searle in his paper Minds, Brains, and Programs, published in Behavioral and Brain Sciences in 1980. Regardless of how intelligent a human like the program may, let's say you have a room with 2 people, one speaks Chinese and the other doesn't. Now say someone in the outside of the room, the only way to communicate is through sliding letters under the door. The person outside the room is also Chinese. Only the English speaker can communicate with the Chinese speaker outside. So what the Chinese person in the room does is that every time the outside Chinese person slides something inside, the Chinese person gives a response written in Chinese to the English speaker, and the slide back out to the response. This happens until the Chinese person outside is convinced the one he is communicating with inside the room is also Chinese. I see. Okay. The question is, does the English speaker actually understand what is being communicated between the two, or is it just, yeah, I get that. So basically what you're saying is the consciousness issue, the computers won't be able to reach consciousness. Yeah, it makes sense. What I'm saying is that AI will be able to reach a point where it will replicate, it will imitate the sort of appearance of consciousness. That's what it'll do. And this is something which, that's all you need, really. In fact, that's really all you need to be able to communicate. Just like nowadays when they have these bots that you can communicate with, sometimes you might be thinking that you're speaking to someone, but you're speaking to a bot. It's a very rudimentary kind of software that they have, but it can become advanced, so advanced that people will think that this is actually speaking to another human being. So I don't think consciousness is such that because they can't reach consciousness, that you won't think that they're conscious. You probably will think that they're conscious. And for many people, it'll just be you're speaking to another individual. They'll be really good at communicating. That's the kind of thing. That's because what it will do is what they're saying is what the AI will do is that it will learn human behavior so well it will know exactly how to behave to different responses. Yeah. So in the beginning, it's going to make lots of mistakes. You can tell, like it's not really it's not really human. But then a point will come where you probably won't be able to tell the difference. Junaid. Jazakallah khair for everything. If I perform Umrah for someone else, do I still get the full reward or do I get no reward as my reward is put forth? Yeah, you get the reward as well. This experiment includes the Turing test. If a human cannot tell if he's speaking to an AI or human, they pass the test. Ah, I see. Yeah. So I think with social media, that's what's going to happen now. It's just like with just they're gonna end up just making movies with just CGI characters, yeah, AI characters. That's what's gonna happen. You're welcome, Sana. OT, there's a video where two AI were communicating with one another and realized that they were speaking to AI and not human. That's interesting. Yeah, did they find that? Ajib. They're gonna take over the world. Who cares if yeah, exactly. I remember this was like many years ago. I heard, and there's also written in his book, Al Harari. So Harari, Yuval Harari, he mentioned this as well that in the future AI is basically going to take over a lot of the jobs, yeah, that we have today because they're going to do it more efficiently. It's going to be much more efficient. Both realize, yeah, that probably will happen. Anyway, guys, Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And inshallah, I will see you guys tomorrow. And we can carry on the discussion of AI tomorrow, inshallah. And that's it, guys. Take care, inshallah. Ramia du'as. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.